Hi, guys. We're going to continue with some ifs and else statements. I got a couple programs to walk through. I'm going to walk through them kind of slow, just so you get the full feel for it. The ifs and elses are really powerful decision making tools in computer science. You can you can make a program go in many different ways with this. It's almost like given the program decision rights. All right. This program demonstrates a nested if statement. That means an if statement inside of an if statement, and that happens more than you think. And this program is a good example of why. All right. This is a program that's going to ask not much up here in the top. This program demonstrates a nested if statement, just the IO stream and the using namespace. I'm going to use two chars, characters. All right. Char employed, charred, recent grad. And the way you're going to use these are for char employed, it's either going to be one of two choices, yes or no. And for recent grad, it's also going to be the same choice, yes or no. Remember, a char is only one letter, and for these, we're going to use capitals, but you could use any letter you want. So let's just get started on this. Is the user employed and a recent graduate? So we're going to ask those questions, answer the yes, Y for yes, and N for no. So these two lines are just a reminder for the user. So are you employed? All right. We're going to say, yeah, we're employed. Next question. Have you graduated from college in the past 2 years? We're going to say no. That's when the prompt comes up, we're going to type yes for employed, and no for recent grad. Watch how the nested if statement works here. All right. If employed equal yes. And we just said yes. So we're going to do because this is if and this is true. Remember we talked to the trues and falses? This is true. Employed equals Y. Then we go inside these parentheses. Right? The parentheses associated with the if statement. Had this been a no, we would have skipped this, right? This only happens if this statement here is true, right? So let's go inside here. If recent grad equals yes, and we said no, this one's a no. So this being a no makes this false. The recent grad is an N. So we just skip right over this statement here. This right here, we skip over because this was false. We go down to this one, else, and this isn't a recent grad, but an employee. This is just a comment that I've got, but employed. So that means this is going to come out. You must have graduated from college in the past 2 years to qualify. So this person is employed, but is not a recent grad. So this is going to be the block that's activated. So let's run this and see. I'm going to do this several different ways. Are you employed? Yes. Are you a recent grad? No. You must have graduated from college in the past 2 years. All right. Let's just do this again and talk through it. I'm going to say that I am not employed, right? Not employed, but so this will be employed will be a no. And recent grad, I'm going to say, yes, I am a recent grad. So employed, no. Recent grad, yes. So let's start through this. If employed equals Y, This is false because I'm not employed. So because this is false, I skip this whole block here. This is false because I'm not employed. Skips this whole block, and I go down to this block, right? And you can see this else means this whole block is for somebody not employed. So no matter what the recent grad is, this is going to see out because this was false. Right up here was false. We skip down to the else and just see this out. So watch me do this. Are you employed? Are you employed? No. Have you graduated from college in the past 2 years? Yes. You must be employed to qualify. Guys, if you're not familiar with this, some of my computer science students will be familiar with this. Some of my engineering students, this will be new to them. You'll need to walk through this a few more times. I'm going to do another scenario on this. I'm going to do yes and yes. All right. If employed equals yes. So this is true. So I'm going to do what's in this block here. So this is true. Then I go down. If the recent grad, yes, this is true. So I'm going to do what's inside this block here. This is true. This is true. The employed is true. Recent grad is true. So that means I'm going to do what's inside this block here. You qualify for the special interest rate. Yes, I am employed. Yes, I have graduated from college in the last 2 years, so I qualify for a special interest rate. All right. If you find this confusing, watch this again a few times so you understand it. Basically, a nested if statement. Okay, you go to the first if, determine whether it's true. If it is true, you do the block right under it. If it's false, you go to the else and do what's there. And that's the same way inside the nested if. So if this would have been any combination, this being yes, right? You're going to do this block on the inside here, and then you're going to do the next if, right? So you need to walk through this a few times till it makes good sense to you. If you got any questions, come to me and talk to me. I think probably in one of the lectures, like the first 10 minutes of the class, we're going to go over this a little bit more this week. All right, that was program 1. I want to go over another one now. All right, this program you all find pretty intuitive because it's something you all do like on a daily basis when you're calculating your grades. So this program uses the if statement to assign a letter grade, A, B, C, D, or F, to a numeric score. Right? Intuitively, you guys don't have to do this because you all know if it's in the 90s, you got an A. If it's in the 80s, you got a B. If it's in the 70s, you got a C. But this program actually does it. So I made 4 constants because I don't want the program changing it. I made a constant integer score of A score 90, B score 80, C score 70, D score 60. I declared an integer test score. Okay, my one prompt in this program is just to ask the user, what's your test score? They're going to enter it, and from right here, you can tell they're going to enter an integer. So we're going to say that they enter an 85. Let's make this, they're going to enter a 78. So let's walk through the logic on this. All right. If test score is greater than equal to A score, well, I'll go up and show you, but you all know A score is going to be 90 or above. So if test score is greater than A score, see this out. Well, it's not. All right. So since this is false, it goes down to the next else if. Is test score greater than equal to B score? No, that's false too. It skips this one and goes down to the next one. Else if test score is greater than equal to C score. C score is 70. It is greater than C score. So it's going to see out your grade is C. It's not going to go any more because this one is as far as the program is told to go. All right. It's else if. Well, since this one's true, it's going to kick out of the if else statements. All right. Let's run it just so I can show you that it does work this way. Let's enter the 78. Your grade is a C. Let's go back and do this again. And I want you to see where this person made a 58. So let's walk through this nice and slow again. If test score is greater than A, false. So it goes down to the next one. If test score is greater than B, which is 80, false. Right? Then it goes down to the next one. Else if test score is greater than C, which is 70, false. Else if test score is greater than D, again, false. So what happens now is it just goes else, which means if it's not an A, it's not a B, it's not a C, it's not a D. This final else doesn't have any conditions because it's everything that's left. I mean, if it's not one of these four, it's got to be an F. So I didn't have to put I did not have to put else if, let's say, and this would still work, but I don't have to put this. Test score, I think this is a capital. Test score is less than 60. Right? This will work just the same. I think I'll show you. I think I'm going to show you this anyhow. All right, I'm going to run it. I'm going to enter that 58. Your grade is an F. Now watch it. I'm going to go back. I'm going to just delete this whole thing I just put in there. All right. It does not check a condition to see if it's an F, but because it's not an A, B, C, or D, all that's left is F. So I'm going to run it again. Your score is a 58. Your grade is an F. All right, just like the last program, I'd say watch this video a few times, look at the code, and think about what I'm saying. Just to recap, you're going to type in a number, and it's going to go down through here and check it. I'm gonna do one more. I'm gonna do a 65. Just one more time. Just one more video. I'm sorry, one more run through this so you can see it. 65. User enters a 65. If test score is greater than A, this is false. So it skips down to this statement. Else if test score is greater than B score, it's not great. 65 is not greater than 80, so it skips on down to this one. Else if test score is greater than or equal to C score, which is 70, it's not. It skips on down to this one. else if test score is greater than equal D score. Is it greater than 60? It is greater than 60. It's 65. So this will see out your grade is D. Enter this. Your grade is a D. All right, this is a pretty common type of program, just process of elimination. If it's not greater than this, then it just keeps going down until you've eliminated the full range of scores. So you'll see this kind of logic in a different kind of way. All right. I'll probably go over this a little bit more on Wednesday, but please take your time. Don't just get your points and these videos, don't just get your point and move on. Get your points and move on. Make sure you understand the material, take notes, and if you've got any questions on them, ask me on the next day. I'm going to make more of a point, especially more and more as the material gets more and more complicated. Do you have any questions? I like questions, and I can bring up this code very easily and put it on the board and answer any questions you have on it. Guys, have a good production day, and I will see you Wednesday morning.